Paul, welcome at Emer's. Very good to have you here. You'll be speaking later today. What will you be talking about?
Vandalism mostly. I'm going to talk about how, I'm going to talk about entrepreneurship around the world and a little bit about sort of the culture of entrepreneurship and driving a culture of entrepreneurship around the world. And most countries have the same question: how can I have more entrepreneurs and so on? And they always go out and do silly things like try and create more venture capital firms, thinking that'll create more entrepreneurs. And all it does is create more venture capitalists, which isn't really the same thing as creating more entrepreneurs. But it's easier. And because it's easier to create venture capitalists than to create entrepreneurs, governments have the bad habit of creating venture capitalists.
Right.
And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that and a bit about how, in countries outside the U.S., what you can learn from what the U.S. has done well and what it's done really badly in terms of trying to drive more entrepreneurial behavior and convince more people that I'm at least as smart as that idiot, so I should be able to create a company like they did, and how you get that kind of spirit, because it's not a spirit of creating entrepreneurship programs and having more venture capital that you really want to create in your country, because all that does is convince people that there's a bunch of hurdles. I got to get money, I got to complete a program.
But those are not cultural differences. Are there actually cultural differences in setting up entrepreneurship?
I used to think there were. I'm not as convinced anymore, because I think it all comes back to, and I don't know if this is, I know in some countries it's a bad thing to say, but I think it all comes back to greed. Yeah. It's really driven by people saying, I want more money, I can get more money and have control of my own destiny by creating a company.
Is that what drives you?
Yeah, of course. I think so. I mean, that and my hatred of fluorescent lights. But no. So I think an awful lot of that comes from seeing someone around you be successful and saying, I'm at least as smart as that idiot, so why can't I do what they're doing?
Right.
And it's incredible the impact that having a few people around you be successful has on people's willingness to try being entrepreneurial, because they say, literally, that character down the hallway did it, I don't see why I can't. And they don't wait to complete an entrepreneurship training program or wait to raise money, they just go out and do it. Yeah. And that's not cultural.
No. So you're going to talk about that, and what are you doing in currently?
So we're trying to...
You were saying just before we started the interview that you're...
unfuck up the U.S. venture marketplace.
That was about...
Yeah, well, because it's completely screwed right now. And the trouble with the U.S. venture marketplace is that we've got too much money, too many venture capitalists, and it's not government funded, so we've done this all on our own. We haven't even had the government get involved. And so what we're trying to do is shrink the industry, and I've been calling for it to shrink by about half.
Because you're doing that because of your current company, which is called...
Yeah, the Kauffman Foundation, which is a $2.5 billion foundation, which is one of the largest investors as an LP, a limited partner, in venture funds. So we invest in venture funds, and venture funds then go out and ruin entrepreneurs. Yeah. And so we're trying to shrink the industry so that these guys will perform better, because right now the funds are too large and there's too many funds, and we want to see it all shrink, and we think it'll be better for entrepreneurs.
Is that a global trend?
No, the US is just really bad. Other countries have gone through this.
Why is that? Is that a cultural thing?
That we've got so many venture firms. The US is just very enthusiastic. When we decide we like something, we really like something. And
we like it big.
Yeah, or like real estate. Yeah. Right, all the same stuff. So it's just... It's
like burgers, like venture capitalists, everything should be big.
Everything should be big. We just like it big. We like it supersized. So we've supersized the venture industry, we're trying to now unsupersize it.
Okay, right. And do you have any tips for the Dutch investors going to listen to your talk later on?
Same advice I give all investors, which is that anyone who's comes from a banking and transactional background, fire them. We need more venture capitalists who have practical experience building companies and a lot fewer bankers.
Okay. So no more bankers, and what do you need?
I love entrepreneurs who turn into venture capitalists, even accidental venture capitalists, like angel investors who get really busy and everybody gives them money and then they become venture guys. I'm great with that. The people I don't like are former, ABN AMRO, whoever.
No consultancies.
No consultancies, and these guys who go out, raise a large fund, and have never built a company. That's of no use to me.
No. So any other tips for people who want to invest in the Netherlands? Do you have any idea about Dutch investment climate?
I mean, my impression is there's an incredible amount of enthusiasm, and as much enthusiasm as I've seen anywhere else. And so that's the the status quo. You have to have at least that. But what my impression is what's missing is a culture of celebrating entrepreneurial successes. I haven't seen that yet, no. And I think that's what has to happen. That's where actually government can even be helpful, is celebrating entrepreneurial.
We're too modest.
What's that?
The Dutch are too modest, maybe.
Really? That's a terrible habit. Break that habit immediately.
Could be. I don't know. I'm asking you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my last place I was in Canada, and Canada has that problem where it's too modest. They're too self-effacing. And so it's taken a while for them to learn how to brag and be noisy about it, because that's what it takes, is this belief that, I need to go out and tell people about it. And when you do...
But then you're going to become big, and then you have to unfuck business, make it smaller.
That's what
it keeps you at work.
It's not a bad price to pay.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Sure.